Hey everyone, it's Ryan from No Credentials Required to talk to you about one of our newest partners at Belly Up Sports, SeatGeek. Yeah, live sports is great on television, but the feeling of being at the arena is a priceless experience. That's why our friends at SeatGeek are there to help you find the best tickets at the best prices. Not only can you get tickets to sporting events, we can also get tickets to concerts, comedy shows, musicals, and more. Search for your desired event now at SeatGeek.com, enter promo code BellyUpSports at checkout, and you save $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek. Life's an event. We have the tickets.
So Infantino has been talking about adding a halftime show to the World Cup. Obviously, Infantino has been doing a lot of stuff with the U.S., trying to put in a lot of promotion for the World Cup here in the U.S., has done a lot of interviews, and obviously one of the big things, he was at the Super Bowl. Which for American standpoint, this is the biggest event in America. People, not only do people in America watch it, but people across the world also do watch it. Not at the level of a World Cup or a Champions League final, but still enough to get for all the eyes to see. Now, Infantino was asked a few questions about how this would, potential of the World Cup. I think Rodri was also featured in those discussions as well. But I'm guessing that he saw the spectacle that is the Super Bowl, which, I mean, it's just huge in general, not only from the game perspective, obviously it's a championship game, but advertising. Everyone talks about these Super Bowl commercials, how lucrative, how crazy, how different these commercials are versus a regular commercial that you see. Obviously, the halftime show is probably one of the biggest things. Like, I do think that if you were to see the numbers of the Super Bowl, like especially this recent Super Bowl, what was the viewership of the game itself versus the halftime show? And I think that there is a massive spike when you think of the halftime show because of the fact that there's probably there's probably like a good amount of people that don't necessarily care about football or just sports in general, but care about seeing Kendrick Lamar. So, and I think that can also be said for any halftime show. I think there's more people that are intrigued. There's a lot more people that like. I think music is probably can be generally say that most people like, and sports is like sports isn't for everybody. It's perfectly fair. So, but as soon as that halftime show, because depending on who that is, whether it's a Bruno Mars, a Beyonce, a Rihanna, a Lady Gaga, like people are gonna be like, oh, it's time for the halftime show. Let's go watch the halftime show. So I think that Infantino saw that spike, and I'm sure he got to see like the numbers, the ratings on the Super Bowl, and saw that the spike happened at that in the halftime show, and it's like, we need to get in on this. Now, in the World Cup final specifically, is there some sort of music performance? Yes, they usually do it for like the pregame, so before the match starts. It's not. See, the only reason why I don't remember Qatar having it. I could be wrong. Qatar at this point is just like a blur to me. I don't remember too much of it. The last time I remember a performance, I think goes back to the 2014 World Cup because I believe Shakira performed before the match. I remember Shakira. That's all I remember. I just remember distinctively Shakira was doing like a little pre-match concert at the stadium, but it wasn't on the field. It was actually like at one of the ends of the stadium. It had this whole stage and everything. Don't quote me. Maybe I was high on that too. I can't tell you. But actually I couldn't because I was in the military at the time. But I think when you think of World Cup, you think of music. Music and World Cup. I mean, music and sports in general. It goes hand in hand. Like, music does a lot of things for people. Either get them hyped for a game, mellow them out, keep them focused, all these things. But music and sports kind of go hand in hand. But in the World Cup, obviously, you have the World Cup song. What is the official song of the World Cup? Whether you're Ricky Martin singing "The Cup of Life," whether you're Shakira who did "Waka Waka." I'm more of a waving flag guy, but which now I'm not kind of noticing like there's been multiple World Cup songs like in the Qatar World Cup. I know was it Little Dirk? I think it was Little Dirk. He made a song with Coca-Cola, I think, which I thought that was supposed to be the official World Cup song, but then Nicki Jam, Will Smith, and some other artists did another song that was supposed to be the official World Cup song, and then there was another artist that performed. I think it was I don't remember the name of the group, but they had their official World Cup. So yeah, at this point, I don't know. I can't tell you. I mean the 2010 World Cup in South Africa, they had Waka Waka with Shakira, and then they had Waving Flag, which a lot of people actually liked Waving Flag more than they liked Waka Waka. I mean, Waka Waka is still a vibe, but 2014, I think J Lo and Pitbull did a song. Yeah, in 2018, I don't remember. I don't remember what 2018 was, to be honest. Anyways, but music and the World Cup is kind of already a thing, but there's no halftime show. There is not a halftime show concert, and I think probably I don't know for what reason. I can't tell you why, but I'm guessing Infantino saw that and was like, "We need to get in on this, and we need to get on it now." And he found somebody to help find a musical act, which is Coldplay. And I will tell you this right now: if you say that you don't like a Coldplay song, you are a liar. There's no way you can't say you don't like one Coldplay song. I think it's crazy. So I'm thinking that's just my opinion. That part, okay? You don't like one Coldplay song. I think that's a lie. But they are basically going to be. I think Coldplay very internationally known. I believe they're based off of England. Obviously very popular here in the U.S. and probably popular all across the world. So they're being put as helping to find acts. Now it's not just one act in general because they're gonna actually be having, I think, concerts throughout the tournament in Times Square in New York. Because if you guys don't know, the FIFA World Cup final will be in East Rutherford, New Jersey, so New York adjacent, if you will. Um, so I think that in Times Square, which I think was really cool, they'll have like a stage. At least what I'm envisioning. Watch, by the time the World Cup happens and I see the stage, I'm gonna be very disappointed. But I'm obviously envisioning like in Times Square, you're gonna have this stage, probably similar to like how they do it for like the New Year's Eve, how they do it for New Year's Eve. So that's probably somewhere along the lines. But you're gonna have a stage, and basically Coldplay is gonna be trying to bring in artists from across the world because it means the World Cup. You gotta have international stars performing, and I think the World Cup final has to be huge, like a world renowned artist that is going to have everybody excited because once again, Infantino is going to want that spike. He wants that spike to happen. Like people are already going to have all eyes on the World Cup final. But for the people that don't necessarily watch sports, he wants that number. He wants that number on the ratings. Like he wants to see the spike in the halftime show. And I mean, why wouldn't you want that? That means more eyes, more money, more sponsorship money. It's the win-win, right? So while yes, maybe some people don't like the idea of a halftime show because it's very American, I guess, I don't know. But I mean the money potential, which I mean at the end of the day, FIFA money revolves for money is the important thing for FIFA. So especially like I said, that spike is going to be all he sees is money from that spike. Because like I said, you're already gonna have a high number because of the viewership for this match, for whatever match it is, whoever the final is gonna be. But when you get that spike for the halftime show, that's just cha-ching is basically what Infantino is gonna be hearing. He ain't gonna be hearing the music that they're performing. All he's gonna hear is cha-ching, money, 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 baby. That's all he's gonna be thinking of, man, for sure. So I think it's a cool idea. I think it would be, especially if you're talking about America, especially the fact that it is going to be here in North America. Once again, it's USA, Canada, Mexico. USA being the main, the focal host. The co-hosts are essentially Canada and Mexico. Obviously, the finals in America. So I mean, a halftime show is very much an American thing. I mean, when you talk about Super Bowl, so like I can see what Infantino probably got some inspiration from the Super Bowl, from being at the Super Bowl and seeing the spectacle that is the Super Bowl, and he is now thinking like, how can I get that going for the World Cup final? And I think seeing this, I'll be intrigued. I'll be very excited to see who ends up being announced as the performer for the World Cup final, because that is going to it's going to be telling of a lot. I know a lot of people make jokes that it would be funny if Drake was to perform the halftime show. Which one, he is world renowned. I think it's fair to say he is world renowned. I think people across the world listen to Drake, so I don't think that is like a crazy idea about Drake. It'd just be funny because like it takes him 2 years to finally respond, or like it'll take him like essentially 2 years after to finally get his response to Kendrick Lamar. So that would be kind of funny. But I mean, nonetheless, I think obviously it's the World Cup. It's going to be huge. It's got to be a world renowned artist, in my opinion.
Who is that guy?